Today, Hearthstone's newest expansion in Cataclysm got announced, and it's looking to be massive. Not only are we getting the Colossals back, we're also getting a massive new Deathwing hero card. And on top of that, you're getting a ton of stuff for free in the coming months, including 2 entire expansions you get to play for free during Cataclysm. So let's go over all of that right now. So here we have Deathwing Strikes Back in Cataclysm, Hearthstone's next expansion. So it's gonna launch on March 17th. Cataclysm descends on Hearthstone, bringing back the legendary destroyer Deathwing. Only this time, he's not the world breaker you remember. In the final moments of Across the Timeways, Murozond refused to accept defeat from Chromie and the Heroes of Time, so he smashed the Hourglass of Time and opened a portal to a nightmare timeline where Deathwing never fell. Now this undefeated Deathwing is invading Azeroth with 6 terrifying lieutenants and they're ready to break the world all over again. So we're getting another alternate timeline expansion that's also kind of a sequel to Across the Timeways. So last time, Azeroth came within a hair's breadth of total annihilation. This time it's even worse. The skies of Azeroth fill with embers and ash as the first ever Deathwing hero card rises. Massive colossal minions lay siege, and the Herald keyword signals the beginning of Azeroth's end. To stand a chance, the heroes must rally the 5 Dragonflights, unleash the new cards, and harness the power of the Shatter keyword. Yep, from that card we already saw last set. An unprecedented threat demands an equally unprecedented response. Chromie is calling on the full power of her time magic to arm you for the battle ahead. She's pulling reinforcements from the past and sending 2 full sets of cards straight into your collection. And here's everything you need to know about Cataclysm. Shuffle up your deck and get ready to play with fire. So let's start with the first thing we have here is the new Deathwing hero card. Deathwing Worldbreaker. So it's a 10 mana card. Yeah, that's a big card. You get 12 armor with it as well, of course. Deathwing is always a 12/12. And then it has the hero power Ruthless, which is +5 attack this turn. That's quite a lot of damage on a hero power. And then yeah, what is the battle cry here? It's choose 1 Cataclysm to unleash, herald twice to upgrade. So if you remember Invoke from Descent of Dragons, another dragon expansion, then you remember it's pretty similar to that. In that you have to Invoke or here Herald twice, then you upgrade it, and then I think it's 2 Cataclysms you get, and then if you Herald twice again, then you get to the final form of Deathwing, and I think in this case you get 4 times that Cataclysm to unleash, and then the Cataclysms with Deathwing that you can get here are Top Hole, so destroy the highest health enemy minion, so just a nice single target removal. Then Raise, deal 4 damage to all enemy minions, so nice clear. Then Enthrall, shuffle 5 random legendary dragons into your deck, they cost 1. It's a bit of a value card for the late game. And last one is Dragon's Reign, where you get a 12/12 dragon with it. And then yeah, if you get all 4, that looks pretty powerful, and that's probably the goal of the deck, that you're putting it in to play this on 10 and just crush the board, get a 12/12, and then shuffle some big dragons for 1 mana into your deck, and you get to use the Deathwing in the upcoming pre-release brawl that we always have the week before the expansion launches, and you get to play it for free in that brawl, though you don't get the card, but you get to play it. So it's kind of nice, because a lot of the problems with the brawl is often that people just didn't have the cards right. You don't have a specific legendary for a certain archetype that you want to play in the brawl, and just you don't really want to play it, so this is nice, it helps a bit with it, but then the after release you do have to get to Deathwing. And then we also have the Colossals are back and stronger than ever with Herald. Colossals are big. First introduced to Hearthstone in Voyage to the Sunken City, they represent creatures of massive scale, making it perfect for Deathwing's lieutenants, like Ragnaros and Ajara. When you play a Colossal Minion, they expand and take up multiple spaces on the board with appendage cards that act as their huge arms, extra heads, gross tentacles, etc. These appendages have abilities that complement the main Colossal Minion, creating a unified display of their enormous power. And here we have Ragnaros. And then all classes are getting a brand new Legendary Colossal in Cataclysm. The new Herald keyword is tied to Deathwing's arrival, so only the 6 classes aligned with him reap its benefits. So we get the Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. And then this is the Warrior Colossal in Ragnaros, the Great Fire. So of course, in Ragnaros, it is an 8 mana 8/8. And then at the end of your turn, trigger your minion's Death Rattles, and then you have 2 appendages with the Hand of Ragnaros, which is a 1 mana 2/1. But it says Death Rattle deal 2 damage to a random enemy. So yeah, that is only 2 damage, but again, you can Herald, so you play Herald cards to upgrade these. So if you Herald twice, I think it's going to be 4 damage, and then Herald twice again, it's going to be 8 damage, as you're used to with Ragnaros. So that is that's a lot of damage, because then yeah, when you play Ragnaros, you get 16 damage with those, and also triggers your other Death Rattles on top, but this is I think the main thing, right? You get those Hands of Ragnarok, and then also it still has the Death Rattle, so if they get killed, that's another 8 damage. So if you fully upgrade it, it's basically guaranteed 32 damage, so yeah, that is quite a lot. It might just be an OTK with it as well. And that is just one of the Colossals, but these are the same Colossals as before. To turn up the heat for Cataclysm, cards like Envoy of the End use Herald to make them even more effective. So then here we have Envoy of the End, which is a 5 mana 5 for Taunt, Battlecry, Herald your Colossal. So when you play this minion, you get the appendage of that Titan with it as well, or one of them at least. So for example, here with Ragnaros, if you played it in Warrior, then you should get a Soldier of Ragnaros, and the Death Rattle is based on how many times you had played a card like that, Herald card. So yeah, the first one is maybe a bit weak, but then it really scales into the late game. And you can see here how it looks in the game where you play Herald. You see what you're gonna get with it. So yeah, you play Warrior, you get that Hand of Ragnaros with it, and it says on the card as well, Herald Ragnaros, so it adapts based on the class you are playing. And here it is all summed up again, but I hope I was clear in the explanation of the Herald keyword, and if not, please let me know in the comments. Now let's go here with the other classes that we still have, with a Mage, Priest, Druid, Hunter, Paladin. So the Dragonflights were vital, taking down the original Deathwing, and we're calling on them once again. And they are aligned with the Dragonflights, and each class receives a legendary Dragon aspect card. So here we have the first one, which is Ibisian, which is a 7 mana 6/6 with Battlecry. Your dragons have rushed this game. One hand, play a dragon to become a 12/12 dragon. So you get this massive card that has rush itself, of course, because it is a dragon. So it's a pretty massive minion, and then this looks excellent in any Dragon Hunter deck, because it's just really powerful to have rush on every card. We've seen that before with Dr. Boom, where all your mechs got rush, and that allowed you to have so many good trades and just control the board after this. Though Hunter isn't really known for controlling the board that well, but yeah, you do get the 7 mana 12/12 rush with it, and then your future dragons have rush as well. So this looks like it could be a pretty strong card if that becomes a thing. Then we have the Colossal for Paladin, which is Chromatus, an 8 mana 8/8 with Colossal +4, and it has Taunt, Lifesteal, Elusive, and Divine Shield, and then the 4 appendages with it all are 2 mana 2/3s with one of the keywords from Chromatus, and then when they die, they also remove the keyword from Chromatus. So if you kill the red head of Chromatus, which is Lifesteal, then the Chromatus as well loses that Lifesteal. So kind of nice synergy, I think, between all the Colossal pieces. And then let's go to the new keyword, which is Shatter. Deathwing's destruction is spreading across Azeroth, and our heroes are doing their best to pick up the pieces. Enter Shatter, a new keyword for the Dragonflight aligned classes, so those 5 we mentioned earlier. When you draw a card with Shatter, it breaks into 2 pieces that move to opposite ends of your hand. You can play the pieces separately, but if you manage to bring them back together by playing the cards in between, they recombine into a single card that's doubly strong. So here I have some example. First of all, we got Supply Run. So here with the original card, which is a 4 mana, draw 3 minions, give minions in your hand +2/+2. So yeah, by itself, that would be a pretty strong, really strong card. So that's why it gets split up in your hand into a Supply Run, draw 3 minions, and then give minions in your hand +2/+2. Now, I'm not exactly sold yet on the Shatter mechanic. It feels like it's really hard to actually make this work. Unless you play in a deck with a really low curve. And if you don't do that, then yeah, it's near impossible to consistently get these cards combined. And then separately, these cards, they're not the worst, right? A 4 mana draw 3 minions, 2 of those minions. But yeah, give your minions in hand +2/+2. That seems a little bit slow. So I'm not exactly sold on these Shatter cards yet. And if your hand is full, I'm not sure how it works. Like if you have 9 cards and you draw this one, does it shatter and you lose one of these 2 cards on the left? Or does it stay there until you play a card and then shatter? I don't know, but yeah, it looks pretty difficult to pull these Shatter cards off unless you're running, again, that low curve. And then we have the second card with Flight Maneuvers, with another 4 mana card with Shatter. Summon 2 4/2 Drakes, give your minions +1 and Divine Shield, and then yeah, it splits again into summon 2 4/2 Drakes, and give your minions +1 and Divine Shield. So again, yeah, both of these cards separately, they don't seem that strong. But yeah, combined, it's pretty nice, right? You can see here the screenshot of what could happen if you have some 1/1s on board. Then you get 2 5/3s with Divine Shield and buff the rest as well. So yeah, this could be maybe worth it in an aggro deck because that has that low curve. So that might be where this is worth it. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be worth it by itself to run in most decks. And then we have yet another new mechanic coming with this set, which is hand targeting. So you can now target specific cards in your hand with new cards like the Battlefield Blaster and Chamber of Aspects. So here we have a Chamber of Aspects, which is a 2 mana, 2 durability location, which says choose a minion in your hand, give it +2/+2. So I think that's nice. You can target it, provides a little bit of extra depth to the game. You know, you can buff specific cards, like you can buff a card now and immediately play it, or you can hold one and then buff it maybe twice and then play it later. So I think it's good we're getting this one, although I'm kind of surprised it took like this long, 12 years to get this kind of mechanic. And then here we have the Battlefield Blaster, a 3 mana 3/4 with Battlecry. Choose a spell in your hand to give +1 spell damage. So yeah, that kind of depends on what spell you want. It seems a little bit expensive to me, 3 mana for this card, but yeah, maybe there's some very specific spells that you really want to upgrade, but for now it seems a bit too slow. And then, like I said earlier, we get a lot of stuff for free. There's expansion and the time leading up to the expansion, so we'll go over more of that in a little bit. So if you log into Hearthstone today, you get the War Master Blackhorn, a 7 mana 6/6 with Battlecry. Destroy all cards that cost 2 or less in both players' hands and decks. Now this seems a pretty interesting tag card because this can kind of completely wipe out certain decks, like say Psycho Rogue, just all their cards are gone, right? No more Asteroid, no more Shadow Steps, and so on. Or against, say, a Demon Hunter, right? Get rid of their Broxigar, wherever it is. So that could be very powerful, but of course it's both sides, so you also destroy your own cards. So it's a bit risky, but yeah, I think this card might just see some play because it can really shut down specific cards, but it is pretty expensive though, a 7 mana 6/6 tech card. It really needs a good mana for this to work in. Then the big announcement kind of with free stuff here is that starting March 10th, so that is a week before the expansion launches, you get full access to Into the Emerald Dream and the Lost City of Ungoro, and including golden versions even. That's pretty crazy. So you get to play with the whole set for the entirety of Cataclysm. So no need to craft these cards for the set, though. Yeah, I think after that you might be missing a few cards, but for this expansion it seems amazing to return to the game with. Just you get all these expansions, so you only need cards from Cataclysm and Timeways. So that's a lot easier than ever again to start with Hearthstone or come back to Hearthstone. Like they keep making it easier and easier. So that's pretty insane. Did not expect this to happen at all. So yeah, all these cards you'll be able to play in the next 4 months after the expansion launches. So yeah, really, really nice. But if you already have those cards, I think you get these 2 signatures. So only missing a few Emerald Dream achievement. I assume that's just if you're missing only a few cards from that set, you get these signatures for free. So yeah, if you're like me and have all the cards, then you just get these added when this all goes live. So it's always pretty nice getting free signatures. And then, yeah, there's more stuff. We'll go over that in a bit. I also have an online event, Rally the Dragonflight, which is from today until the expansion launch. So then you can get to the link, and I'll have all the links to these blog posts in the description. And yeah, help Rally the Dragonflight by signing up for the email list, claiming drops in Hearthstone streams, and interacting with Hearthstone content across our social media channels. Help the community unlock all the Dragonflights to earn a free legendary Abyssian and 2 signature copies of Envoy of the End. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you want to do here. It feels like they're forcing you kind of to interact with all the stuff to get free things. But hey, it's free stuff, so that's nice. I just don't know the exact specifics of this. We even get a new board. I mean, that's crazy. We're actually getting a new board. Kind of nice we're getting boards back again, because that's one of the things they were cutting in the last few years. And then, yeah, as usual, you get that pre-order the expansion. So if you want to spend money on the Hearthstone, usually this is a pretty good deal. Getting these pre-order bundles, get a nice start to the expansion. But you got to decide for yourself if you want to spend money on the game. Now let's go to the patch notes for today, for the patch today. Anyway, we have the pre-purchase again. But yeah, you get 135 collectible cards. And that's kind of an important number because it used to be 145. So we got a dev comment on that here. Well met, we'd like to share a peek behind the curtain at a change coming to Hearthstone. Beginning with Cataclysm, major expansions will return to a total of 135 cards. Neutral comment cards haven't seen as much play as we'd like, so removing 10 neutral comments. And yeah, that's kind of true. A lot of that comments feel kind of like filler that maybe you discover, but never really want to put in your deck. So yeah, but these cards aren't really disappearing. Instead, they're transforming into something more exciting. Going forward, we're using that design space to create new, higher rarity event cards that you'll be able to earn for free throughout the Cataclysm expansion cycle. These changes make it easier for you to get your hands on exciting new cards, both in opening packs and through events. Those are just a few of several improvements rolling out this year, as highlighted in the Hearthstone Spotlight. We're also introducing new class sets that give every class more impactful tools and shine an even brighter light on the unique playstyles. Can't wait to share more with you soon. So this class set, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out with certain classes just getting a bunch of new cards, and also nice that we get a bunch of other free stuff throughout. So hopefully that shakes up the meta every time a little bit with those new cards, instead of it being still like it's been kind of in the past year, just a little bit. So we'll see how it works out. And removing 10 root comments, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you just remove that filler, and then hopefully get something better in return. Again, here we have the free legendary. We got that online event here, and then we get some in-game events. So this one is starting tomorrow after the current event ends. So yeah, we always have an event running now, and it's a fire and storm event. And then you get these rewards. So you can see here we got the Sense of Time epic card. So starting tomorrow, you get this new card almost immediately. It's pretty easy to get the first tier, and yeah, it's a pretty nice card. You can see it here. It's 1 mana discover card from any class, and then you can rewind to just be from your class. And yeah, this slots nicely into the quest mage you like to play. But yeah, it can go into any deck, right? It's 1 mana discover a card, and then potentially discover again if you don't like the options. So yeah, I feel like often these cards have seen play, 1 mana discover cards with an upside. So expect this card on ladder this week, and then you get a bunch of other stuff. And then after that, we have 3 weeks of this event track here, the Death and Madness. And again, you get bunch of free stuff here. We get the Dark Iron Harbinger, which is this card here. I mean, 4 mana 7/4, and then Death Rattle summon a Doomsayer. Yeah, I don't know, that's probably not what you want to be playing. It works thematically with the set, but would you put this in your deck? I don't think so. And then you also get the Disciple of the Mice, 2 more cards. And this one, it only works in Dragon decks, obviously, because by itself, not so good. But even in Dragon decks, like, you only want to play it in like a really slow Dragon deck, I think. But it can be a nice board clear tempo swing with this card. But yeah, that really depends on what dragons we'll see with this set, because I expect a lot of dragons with the theme with Deathwing. Again, you get all this stuff for free. Get some packs ready for Cataclysm, so you can open that when the expansion launches. So that's pretty nice. Then you get here that Cho'Gall hero card. Then you get another free thing, a new quest chain here. Or you just get another few packs for Time Waste and Cataclysm. And then also a big thing right now is that they're trying to shake up this meta a little bit. So they're buffing some cards, some in a pretty big way. Cards that didn't really see much play. So we got here Dr. Stitch and Sue. There's this one from Deathlight that just sees no play, just from 6 to 5 mana. And we got the CCG. It's a 3 mana 4/4 with upside. Pretty crazy. Then we got Zortolf, Breaker of Stars. This is kind of like that Shatter card where you put 2 cards inside of hand. Yeah, not a very great card. Don't think this will see played in Emergency Meeting. Where you get those crewmates. Yeah, 1 mana makes it a lot easier to play. You know, maybe some aggro demon on the deck will play this, where you can just get a bunch of 4/4s on turn 4 on the board. Can be pretty strong, so it should help with that. Ulu the Everdrifter, -1 mana and -1/1 stats. And yeah, I think the card still has the same problem. It's just that the moment it cuts into your hand, it doesn't actually work. You have to wait a turn. So I don't know why they don't fix that and just make it immediately playable. Probably not worth running, but better now than before. Then we got the another card for Druid, Exarch Othar from 4 to 3 mana. Yeah, it's good. It's better in Starship Druid, but I don't think you'll be playing this deck still. Then we got Hammett go from 5 to 3 mana. That's a pretty big buff here. And, you know, maybe it's he's playing aggro Hunter where you don't want to run out of cards. But then again, you also have aggro Hunter that wants to get an empty hand. Yeah, this doesn't quite work in it. So maybe in some beast deck. But then also the buff card from Ungoro doesn't work. That buff your whole deck by +2/+2 if you only have beast. So I'm not sure about this, but it's a pretty big buff. Then Gorm gets buffed from Awakening 1 turn sooner to Awakening 2 turns sooner if it eats a minion. So if it eats 2 minions in a row, you basically get it 2 turns later. Still seems pretty bad, but slightly less bad than before. Another buff is to Arcwing Pilot, so that's the card that you just want to summon basically board full of. And yeah, mana buff is pretty big to this kind of card, because you really need to combo it with other cards. But again, it's probably a little bit too weak again for it to really work out. Then a nice buff here, I think, is to York in the Box, going from 8 to 7 mana. So if you like spellmates or the quest spellmates like me, yeah, that's a really nice buff. Often we're trying to survive until the York in the Box, then play it, and getting to play the turn sooner is pretty big. So a nice buff for that deck, and it could kind of use a buff. And then we got Ingenious Artificer. Yeah, just -1 mana. I mean, I guess that works with that Arcwing Pilot again. But the whole combo just doesn't seem quite powerful enough to build your deck around. Then we get some Libram buffs. We get the Yrel going from 4 to 3 mana. Yet another buff to Yrel. And yeah, I guess if you play Librams, you'll probably be playing this card, and it's definitely better. Maybe a bigger buff here is to the Interstellar Wayfarer, which now has Death Rattle as well to reduce the Librams. So yeah, you just want to get all these cards to reduce Librams, like the weapon that also got buffed. And then yeah, you get those cheap Librams to try to win that way. Again, will this be playable? It's hard to say, but it's just kind of a nice buff to the deck. Then we get Twilight Medium. Instead of 1 mana, it's now 0 mana, the top card of your deck. Yeah, I mean, it helps. Then you can maybe, if you have like the Narain cards in your hand and you play this, you can immediately play those cards off the top and not just have to wait a turn if you curve out like that. Yeah, small buff. Priest still gonna be bad, but it helps a little bit. We have another priest buff to Ascara, another buff to this card. Now it summons a copy of the next 2 Draenei you play instead of just the next Draenei. But again, Draenei's not great. You don't really want to put them in your deck, I think, and it's probably not worth either to play this card still. You just don't really want to play other Draenei. And then Eudora getting a buff, and this one is kind of funny. It's finally seeing play, this card, after over a year in Standard for the first time in the Imbue Rogue, and now it's getting buffed from 5 to 4 mana. But the funny thing is that if you look at the stats, it's not that great of a card in the deck, Eudora, but what it does do is fill that 5 cost slot for release, and now with this buff, you actually have to find another 5 cost to fill that slot, so you could almost consider this a nerf to the deck. Not quite, I think playing this for 4 mana is definitely a lot better than 5, but it's kind of a funny consequence of yeah, buffing this, that it might almost just nerf the deck. And then we get to the biggest buff here I think we have is Maestra Masked Merchant, going from 5 mana 6/5 to a 2 mana 3/2. Yeah, that's a massive buff, -3 mana. Now, this card has only really seen play, I think, in like Psycho Rogue, and I don't really know why we need to buff Psycho Rogue at the moment, if we really need to do that. Don't really like this one. It seems a little bit too much. Like, you get a hero card for 2 mana. I mean, those hero cards are insanely powerful still. So getting it for just 2 mana, yeah, that seems like a pretty incredible card now. I wonder if you're going to be playing another rogue decks just by itself. Don't even care about the tourist part, just want those hero cards because they're that strong. Then we got Petty Theft going from 2 to 1 mana. So it's a little bit better to discover, but yeah, getting 2 random spells from another class. They're cheap, but often they don't really help your game plan too much. But yeah, definitely a lot better than it for 2 mana. Then we got Agency Espionage. Now you get a draw of it, so draw 1, so I assume that's draw 1 of those cards for 1 mana. Yeah, that's a nice buff. I don't think this card is going to be viable, but it definitely helps it a bit, so you don't just lose a ton of tempo by playing this, but you can play it on turn 5 and then immediately play 1 of those cards with it, which really offsets a lot of the downsides of this card. So it's a nice buff if you like this this kind of card, kind of random card. And then we got Kara's Cabaret Star going from 5 to 3 mana. And yeah, it's kind of a nice card. You just doesn't really quite have an archetype, but used to have like the shaman with the spell schools that you played. And now I don't think really a lot of the shaman decks, well, there's only really Hagatha Shaman that doesn't even see much play anymore. Yeah, that deck doesn't really play many spell schools, so I don't really know what goes into, but yeah, it seems like it could be a good card though, because those effects are pretty nice. Just feels like one of those cards that is good by itself, just doesn't go into anything. Then we got Arcamont going from a 7 mana 7/7 to a 6 mana 6/6. I mean, kind of ruining, you know, Great Dark Beyond with the 3 7 mana 7/7 legendaries with this Velen and Kil'jaeden. And yeah, I guess, I mean, random demon decks, maybe they'll see play. The bigger buff really to the archetype is a Abduction Ray, going from 2 mana to 1 mana. So by itself, this is 1 mana, get a random demon, reduces cost by 2. But because it's 1 mana, this is way more repeatable and yeah, way better. And if you add the demon that reduces other random demons by 1 mana, then yeah, you could get a lot of mana cheat with this. Just get a whole board with this and then get it back with Arcamont. Probably still not viable, but definitely a huge buff to this card and Arcamont. And we got Announced Darkness. Yeah, I mean, 2 mana to 1 mana. I mean, this is a complete meme card, but it's slightly more playable as a meme card. We have Botface, 9 to 7 mana. It's a lot of stats for 7 mana. Just often annoying part is that you get yeah, those minis in hand when you don't want them. But yeah, some of them can be nice. Just a lot of bad ones, like buffing your demons when you're playing warrior. Not really gonna work out most of the time. So yeah, will this see play? I don't know. Then another buff to warriors to the right cleaver. The sandwich goes from 3 to 2 mana. Damn, they changed this card a lot, the sandwich card, the right cleaver. But yeah, I don't know what you want to play this with. There's just, I don't think, enough minions that really are worth it for this card. And then the last buff to warriors to Spore Empress Moldara, which now has Battle Crown. The card says cast 1, and I kind of like this one because I feel like often these cards that shuffle at the start of your deck, right, like this or Prince Malkazar, they kind of suck to draw, so I think it's good to give them a bit of an upside to it. Drawing them just feels bad. You get it in a mulligan, you're stuck with a 6 mana, 6/7. I mean, you're not playing Boulderfist Ogre, you don't want to play this card, so yeah, that's a nice one to that. Again, probably not going to be viable with the buff, but it's good if you want to be playing with it. Then we're getting to some neutrals. Crimson Commander, buffing Draenei by +2/+1 instead of +1/+1. Great if you random it off a Creature of Madness. Otherwise, yeah, you don't want to be playing Draenei still, I would think. And then some buffs to Whizbang, won't go over all of them. Some big buffs to Whizbang. I mean, again, it can be fun to play with, but I don't think it's going to be viable. And yeah, if it is viable, they're probably going to be nerfing it. But it could be fun just to try out and play a bunch of completely different decks that you otherwise have no chance of playing in Standard in any way. And the last change in this patch notes, if you're interested in the Dark Moon Fair, we get the new Dark Moon Fair. If you want to spend your money, yeah, can throw it at this Dark Moon Fair again. It's probably going to be the most expensive one because we get and a mythic skin, is it, and a pet. So you get yeah, 2 of those. Probably pretty pricey, but yeah, you can get that one. Although I find it weird that Varian is Hunter. Varian is a very melee character and doesn't really fit with Hunter, but I guess they just wanted it for 2 classes. So yeah, if you have money to spare, then you can get the new Dark Moon Fair, which launches next week. And then the last part of this video, where we're going to be talking about a lot of the free stuff you're getting. So yeah, you want to maybe keep track of this, so yeah, you know when to log in, when to play to get what for free. So they're calling it the Dragon's Hoard. So let's start here. So yeah, we first have all the reveals here that you can get. So this week we have 4 Colossals getting revealed, and then you get more reveals over the coming weeks. So it's a bit different this time. I'm part of this. I'm happy to be part of it. You can see me here with Mage and Hunter. Is that yeah, we're gonna be revealing a bunch of cards at the same time for well 2 or 3 classes here at the end. And then yeah, we're going to do it with other creators. So that will be streamed on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you want. And if you're watching it, you also get 1 Cataclysm pack for watching 20 minutes of each of them, I assume. So you get 5 packs if you watch all of them. So that is nice. Then we have more reveals here. You can check it out for yourself again in the link in the description. So here you find where everything gets revealed over the coming week. And the final reveal stream is back again. This has been a while since we had one of these. And yeah, here I think all the remaining cards get revealed. So you want to tune in for that if you're interested in seeing those cards on March the 3rd. So that's still almost a month away. But yeah, that's going to be a long review season. And again, you get a pack if you watch that. Then we have more free packs with the Theory Crafting Community Days and the pre-release Tavern Brawl as usual. So I'll be playing with the Theory Crafting. So tune into my stream if you want to watch me play with a bunch of the new cards. So that is March the 5th, when I already have revealed all the cards. And here you get 2 packs if you watch the stream for 150 minutes in total. Then we got the Community Days, which is March 10th to the 14th. So just a few days before the expansion. And then yeah, by watching a bunch again on Twitch, you get 8 packs total, including 3 Cataclysm packs. Then we get again the pre-release Tavern Brawl, where you can play with all the new cards that you get in the packs that you got through all these free packs, like the Community Days or the pre-purchase. So that's the way you can do that. And again, everybody gets to play with Deathwing during that time. And that's not it. Even more, there's a whole lot of stuff more here. It's kind of unexpected how much free stuff they're giving away. Now here with all the free stuff that we already talked about, so we'll skip that for now, but you can check it out all in this post here. Then with a patch 35.0, which is the week before the expansion launches, it goes live on March the 10th. Until the next expansion, you get access to all the cards again from Emerald Dream and the Lost City of Ungoro. And then you can also get, if you have all the cards, or almost all of them, I think, then you get yeah, signature cards of Ysera and Umbra. And again, the achievements are returning, so if you collect 15 or all of the Cataclysm legendary cards, you get some signature cards with that. So again, Deathwing for free. And again, with the pre-release Tavern Brawl, you get the 2 tavern tickets and 1 pack if you finish for the first time 6 wins. And then if you go 6-0, you get a Cataclysmic Brawler card back. So I guess they want to encourage you to try this over and over, right? And try and get those 6 wins, so you get that unique card back. And I imagine that's the only way you'll ever be able to get this card back is here. Then when you log in, I mean, this is just the battle pass, the tavern pass. You get a random colossal card, so you can claim that during the entire expansion. Now, new thing here is that you get a Year of the Scarab Legend card pack if you hit Legend at least once during the entire year. So yeah, that is kind of nice. You can see here until 38.0, so that's the first expansion of next year. And here we have another event track with another bunch of free stuff. Then we have weekly login rewards. So if you log in once in each of the week before the leading up to the expansion and go to the shop, you can claim these rewards. And also you can claim these rewards on the web shop apparently. So if you go there, then you get more packs, more Cataclysm packs. So that starts the week after the expansion, and then more in-game rewards. I mean, it's just the next events track that we already know is again happening all the time, and you get more free packs with that. And then you see here, but that's all, but we already covered that you can get the Abyssian legendary for free with yeah, 2 more signature cards. So yeah, tons of free stuff with this, and I hope this video was helpful with clarifying what's going to be happening the coming weeks until Cataclysm and even after that. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.